Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, a tale of Duo permissions. It's all in the details. The curious case of the rebooting server. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. A tale of Duo permissions. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. For reference, I've worked for an MSP for 4 years on the network engineering side of the house. Just recently, I was tasked with testing out Duo for our customers because a lot of cybersecurity insurance required 2FA on Windows devices and everything else, and because of the price, my company didn't want to adopt Duo sooner. Now, a couple of days ago, we got our Duo account bumped up to an MSP partner account, and we decided to go forward with offering it to our clients. This meant that I needed to create admin accounts for more people in the organization, such as our partner relations lady, who I guess must be the most technically inclined person in the organization, even though she can't figure out how to ring my extension on the company phone, because the second I did that she took away all admin rights and made every admin account, except hers, a help desk account. If you've never worked with Duo before, let me shed some light on their permissions quick. Your highest two levels are owner and administrator. Owner is completely unrestricted, they can do everything, so naturally you'd only want a couple accounts at this level. In my head, that would be me and the one other person who has done any sort of Duo training. The next level, administrator, has similar permissions to owner except for the two big caveats that they can't create or change other admin account permissions, and they can't view or edit billing information. It's important to note that in Duo's terms, admin refers to anyone with an account that has access to the organization's admin panel, and administrator refers to the permission level that I just described. So, for some godforsaken reason, the operations person I referred to earlier is the person in the company that's in charge of creating people's accounts and updating billing information, but if you couldn't tell by my sarcasm earlier, she has no actual technical skill, so of course I don't actually want to give her owner rights, but Duo has no way, that I found in the time that I had, to give admins custom rights, such as give this admin administrator right and billing rights, or give this admin user rights and application rights. You can only select one. So this leads to the most annoying part of the story. I had to create the operations lady's account as an owner, so she could do her job, even though she shouldn't be in charge of creating admins since she doesn't have any Duo training, and doesn't know how to read the summary of what each permission level does. The first thing she does, as mentioned earlier, is make every account a help desk account, without calling me, the person who knows what's up with Duo. Then she doesn't send anything out to notify me or the other guy of the permission change. So here I am going to create a setup document for Duo, and I find out that I can't create test users, I can't give more people panel access, I can't even set up a new Duo application to be protected. I emailed her to find out if she changed my permissions, to which she say yes, I did. Call me, for some reason your extension doesn't ring. No one else in the company, i.e. 45 other people, has ever had issues calling my extension, which leads back to the technical level of this operations employee. So I call her, sent to voicemail. Call her a couple hours later, sent to voicemail. So here's where we're at. I'm supposed to give a presentation on how Duo works today, but since I don't have any rights, I'm just going to tell the CEO that until this lady gets over her power trip, we can't implement Duo, which means our customers can't get cybersecurity insurance without finding a new MSP. The moral of the story: my company has a poor way of assigning roles, and Duo has poor way of assigning permissions. Thanks for coming to my TED talk. Also, please refer any formatting complaints to my operations lady. I'm on mobile. Update: probably won't be your favorite update, but here we go. Didn't come up in the meeting, some other things took precedence. I sent a rather harsh, at least for me, email to her, CCing my boss and the CEO. Got nothing all day until CEO called me toward the end. Got a bit of a scolding for the email, which is fair. Like I said, I was mad. Apparently this was protocol due to some things that happened prior to my time here. I didn't go through the proper channels when setting up a new partner account, primarily because I wasn't told what they were, I was just following orders. CEO apologized for the lack of communication, which was my whole issue. Like, if you're going to change my permissions, tell me first. Our Duo rollout is on hold, obviously, since I didn't get my permissions back, but oh well, guess we'll see if we ever get there. As for people talking about how she shouldn't have owner permissions in the first place, I agree. I think that should be saved for service managers and the CEO, but that's how her job is set up. She's the internal point of contact for all of our vendors and in charge of creating external accounts for our people. I don't fully know why, but I imagine it has something to do with accountability. All that said, I do think that Duo's permissions should be checkboxes rather than radio buttons, so that you can make someone both application manager and user manager, or whatever combination you need, rather than giving them administrator rights or requiring multiple accounts. As it stands now, I can't currently test some of the applications that we're going to want for some of our clients, and while the Duo setup process is fairly straightforward, it's still not something I want to put in production until I test things. There's a small part of me that still hopes her phone breaks over the weekend so that we're locked out of Duo entirely until she gets a new one. It's all in the details. LTLFTP here, or at least, I think so. I work for a large collections agency as desktop support. I've been out of IT for some time now, but recently stepped back in, about a month now, and honestly am sad I left, but I digress. I get a message from my boss about a request that has been approved, asking me if I can take care of it. No problem, I look up the request, and it's for sourcing assets. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a new hire, but I didn't see a new hire come through my email, and we don't typically do new hires in the middle of the week. The request turns out to be from HR, asking for a docking station. Now, our SLAs start at 10 days for AP4, also known as a request, which I find to be lengthy, but not my call. Which I thought, with WFH, maybe they need one for home. Assign the ticket to myself and proceed to go to lunch, 'cause foods is good. I get back to a message from HR stating that they will be leaving in 20 minutes, and really need the dock replaced for the amount of workload. Mind you, I didn't see this ticket until 11:30 a.m., right as I'm headed out for lunch. That was 40 minutes ago. Well, you're not getting your dock today then. I did think to myself, did you not just use one of the DisplayPort cables and plug into your laptop? But that's thinking too smart for the end user. I send a message back, mostly covering my hide, as I technically have 10 days to complete the request, stating that if something like this were to happen in the future, please open an incident ticket, and we're not waiting on an approved request, which can take up to a day. The SLA for AP3 is still 5 days, but we tend to take care of them within the day. Get a reply back next day, they will be in on Monday or Tuesday, and thanks for my help. I had a good chuckle at this, nice person, but when I see AP4, I certainly don't jump, no matter who it is. I'll update with the outcome, because I'm curious to see if the dock is burnt out or unplugged. Update: I completely forgot about this post, not gonna lie. I did end up replacing the dock and bringing it back into the office. Plugged it in, hooked it up to my laptop, and what do you know, external monitors come to life and everything is working. My guess is they managed to bump a cable and unplug it from the power strip. The curious case of the rebooting server. Ding! UKHRDPYRL002 has gone offline. I watched the SolarWinds display. In a few seconds. Aha, there it is. UKHRDPYRL001 offline. For this one, I was in Storied Hereford, brought in as a consultant to help them work out why their payroll servers kept rebooting. This company was not a tech company, so its higher IT management was made up of all financial professionals, not a single techie in sight. When a big budget project to virtualize the data center came along, that then became the entire IT department. IT had service desk, work order fulfillment and infrastructure, but didn't have a single applications or business systems professional. One of the VMware guys sort of knew how to create CSRs in IIS, and that's about it. Big skills gap they didn't even know they had. My role here was to work with the payroll vendor and work out why the servers kept rebooting. Of course, the payroll vendor had given their software a clean bill of health. In their IT director's words, they needed a blended skill set, their words for someone who knew the faintest concept of server applications and, indeed, application servers. Back in the real world, both payroll servers were backup and I shot off an email to the Active Directory guy. What's the documented purpose of gbds/payroll svc? That account rebooted the servers. He replied that, from the name, he thought that's the service account the payroll system used. I couldn't find any trace of it. It wasn't authenticating to SQL with it. It wasn't running services or app pools as it. Finally, I found a scheduled task called Watchdog. This very much piqued my interest. It was a VBS script which seemed to query the payroll system, and then restart IIS, restart services, and, if stuff was still in some state, reboot the server. Okay, so just disable the scheduled task? Aha, no, for we don't know why it's there. I go back to my contact. What's the last payroll issue you had anyone consulting in for? He had no idea. It was years and years ago. The IT director, copied in, actually knew the answer. Sometimes payroll would hang, and so need the services restarting. I pieced together the clues. The VBS was quite telling. Does payroll system complete a web call within 120 seconds? Restart services and IIS if not. Wait 120 seconds. Go to 1. If we've been to 4 before, continue. Reboot server. A smaller organization had an issue with the payroll system, but restarting it fixed the problem. The consultant had belt and braces it and rebooted the server if the system failed to come back online. Over time the organization had grown, the final straw being an acquisition. The API call being used was asking for a list of all payroll numbers, appropriate for a smaller system, but wasn't going to complete in time today, so the check failed more than it succeeded. Restarting the services also now took too long, so the wait in step 3 wasn't long enough. The script looped once, step 1 failing the second time as the services are still starting back up, so we go to reboot the server. Armed with this knowledge, I disabled step 5 in the script and changed step 3 to 600 seconds, then went to the vendor with my findings. The vendor was aghast that the client was doing this, and showed them how to properly implement a watchdog timer on the system.